everyone, and welcome to YarnGasm. I'm Kristen, and this is episode 176. If you are a returning viewer, thanks so much for coming back, and if you are a new viewer, thanks so much for checking out my podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, spinning, general craftiness, and hand-dyeing yarn in Brooklyn, New York, where I live. So, I am a little bit late in recording this week, only just because I took it easy. Last week was a little crazy, prepping for the trunk show over the weekend at Gauge Intention, which I just want to say thank you so much to everybody for the well wishes and those of you who came to stop by, to say hello, to buy yarn, and it was just a really wonderful weekend. And it was actually funny because in the morning, Dennis had helped me load in. We grabbed my grid wall, all the yarn, and just piled it into the car. And then when we got there at, I think I showed up at Gauge Intention around about 11 o'clock. And we walk in, and lo and behold, there is Carlene from the Made with Carlenergy podcast, Tanya from Knitting Spring, and Tiny Paper Foxes, Jenny. And they were all there. And I was like, where'd you guys come from? This is crazy. It was such a really nice surprise. I was not expecting all of that. I knew some of them were coming or may not come, but just to have them all there at the same time was just a really awesome surprise. And I must admit, I got the warm and fuzzies, and I was like, you guys are awesome. So, and Allison was there. She was filling in for Michelle because Michelle was running late. But anyway, so yeah, and it was just a really fun weekend. We hung out, we sat around the table knitting, chatting. Denise showed up. Hi, Denise. And I actually found out that Denise volunteers for the pet adoption agency where we adopted Bella, our cat. So that was a really fun fact to find out. And we chatted about that a little bit. And then Michael from I believe it's the Penguin Coffee Clutch podcast. I've never heard of it. It's an audio podcast only, but I checked it out this past week. I listened to it while I worked, and he was a really cool guy. He stopped by, bought some yarn, and just hung out with us. He's working on some pretty amazing designs. So it was really fun just to chat with him and see what he was working on, and really super talented. And just, everybody that came in to say hello and check out the yarn. It was, it's always so fun to do trunk shows there. And but anyway, thank you to everybody for even the well wishes, even if you couldn't come, just wishing me luck and everything. I really appreciate it. Otherwise, okay, I don't know if Jenny wanted me to show this off on the podcast, but it's too cool not to show off. She just got me a little, thank you for what you do, podcasting gift. Jenny, I really don't know why, but anyway, you were awesome. She spotted this in a store, and she's like, I had to get it for you. And you guys, it's an Edward Gorey calendar, which could not have come at a better time, because I just got rid of my my 2015 calendar, which Dennis got me for Christmas last year. It was the Sweaters and Cats calendar. So this was perfect timing, and Edward Gorey is one of my favorite illustrators of all time. And if you're not familiar, I have a colorway this colorway, my featherweight cardigan, is my Gashly Crumb colorway, which is based on a book that Edward Gorey had written and illustrated. It has just so many fun little illustrations and lots of colorway inspiration. So this will be going up on my wall probably after I'm done podcasting. I just wanted to show it to you guys. But Jenny, thank you. This is awesome. So cool. But anyway, yes. What else did I want to talk about? I knew there's something I wanted to talk about. And I also want to say thank you so much to everybody who's been wishing me a happy holiday. I've received a few holiday cards too in the mail, and I just, you guys give me the warm and fuzzies. Thank you so much. It really means so much to me. That, just hearing from you and letting me know how much you enjoyed the podcast, and just, so thank you. Okay, so I am going to go on to what I've been working on. I actually have something off the needles, and it's a pair of socks. Well, not a pair yet, but I have one sock. I have a hoe, half object, one sock off the needles, and I brought these with me to gauge intention because I usually, whenever I do a trunk show there, or meet up with people and have a knitting meetup, I always bring a pair of socks just because, when there's a lot of chatting going on, I don't want to risk dropping a stitch, so to speak, or messing up, because it always happens. And yeah, these are just some plain vanilla socks, and the yarn is Regia 4-ply in the Arne and Carlos collection from their, I believe, their Summer Night colorway. And the yarn was actually a gift from Molly from a homespun house. This is when the yarn first came out, and it was super hard to get, and she goes, Kristen, I can nab some for you. I'm like, please do it. And she was so awesome. She sent me 2 50-gram skeins of this, and these were so fun to knit up, you guys. I wasn't even done knitting the first sock. As soon as I found out that Jimmy Bean's wool had some in stock, I just went on there and ordered 2 more colorways in the same collection. Not the same colorway, but I think it was their fall night colorway and their autumn night colorway, which, yeah, because I showed them to Dennis while I was knitting them, and he was like, oh, those are so cool. And I'm like, do you want a pair? And he's like, you just finished knitting me a pair. I'm like, doesn't matter. I can knit you a pair. And so, unbeknownst to him, I purchased 2 50-gram skeins in a Manly Men colorway. So those are coming soon. And sock blockers. I ordered a large pair of these sock blockers, which are oh goodness, I cannot remember them. The Bryson wire sock blockers, which are supposed to help your socks dry quicker after you're done blocking them. And if you remember last week, I was trying to show off Dennis's socks on some sock blockers, but they were I didn't show them off, but when I did put them on my sock blockers, they were just all like wiggly woggly, if that's a term, wiggly woggly. I don't know. But yeah, they were swimming around the sock blocker, so I'm like, there's no point in me showing off his socks on some sock blockers that don't even fit. So I ordered some more sock blockers in a large size, so I can next time. But anyway, I'm going on way too long about this. But yeah, these are just a regular cuff down 1x1 ribbing, fish lips kiss heel. And the only thing that I did different this time, this is, believe it or not, my very first rounded toe. I don't know if you can see that. And the stitch count is 64 stitches, and all I did was separate, when I was ready to decrease the toe, I just separated it into 8 sections and decreased at those sections once every other row. So I divided it into 8, and then decreased every 8th stitch, and then knit around, and then decreased every 7th stitch, knit around, and then decreased every 6th stitch and knit around, so on and so forth, until I just had, I think, 8 stitches on the needles, and then yeah. So if you are not a fan of the Kitchener stitch, this is definitely a really great option. And I really just love the way how this ended up at the toe. It's brilliant. So yeah, and I have one more skein. I think I had maybe about like 25 grams, maybe less than 20. I think I had about like 20 grams left of one of these skeins left after I was done knitting the sock. So I just wound that off into mini skeins so I can give those away next time I do a mini skein swap. Mini skein swap. Anyway, mini skein swap. So I have one skein left, and here is, if you can see that. Yeah. So, and I also knit that sock entirely on these new DPNs that I purchased. They're Knitter's Pride cubics in US size 1 and I believe 2.5 millimeters. See, the numbers are already rubbing off. I don't know if you can see that or if that's even going to focus, but you can tell they're already rubbing off. And I don't know, I really enjoyed knitting on these. I don't know why, but I'm not, if you know me and you don't, if you've been watching the podcast, you know I'm not a huge fan of DPNs. I prefer my magic loop method on my carbons, but these were actually a pleasure to knit on. And yeah, so, and I have minor laddering in here. Like you can see, like right here, there's a slight ladder, but I still have to block these. And over here, there's a ladder. But I think after I block them, they'll just kind of disappear because I remembered this time to just kind of pull tight after every needle switch. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed working with these. So I'm going to cast these on before I go on vacation, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. No second sock syndrome here. Anyway. So yeah, that is what's off my needles at the moment. And on my needles, oh, well, I guess, I don't know if this counts as off the needles, but I finished the front of my stonecutter pullover. And this is a pattern by Michelle Wong. And yeah, and the yarn is Quince & Co. In their Lark base, which is 100% wool in the Damson colorway. So, and this is blocked. I blocked it entirely. So yay, it's almost done. So excited. And, I brought this to show to Michelle when, I was at Gauge Intention, and I told her that I was using Quince & Co. And she mentioned how, it's a lovely yarn, but it definitely has a lot of drape. Even though it's not superwash, it definitely kind of expands a little bit. And after I blocked it, she could not be more right. It definitely does kind of have like a nice drape effect to it, and which is perfect for me because I was worried that as I was knitting it, I was following everything to a T, and I was a little worried that the sweater was going to be too short, which is totally. I mean, that's how the pattern is supposed to be, but for me, I actually prefer my sweaters to be a little bit longer. Like right below my hip or, right to my butt in the back. And yeah, this definitely blocked out perfectly. So I'm very happy about that. And yeah, I just have to weave in the ends and now knit the sleeves, which I also cast on. So the goal is to finish the sweater by, before we go on vacation, because we are leaving next Thursday. It's coming up super quick. Dennis and I are going to Italy for Christmas, which I cannot be more excited about. I've never been to Italy. And also thank you to everybody who's wishing me a really wonderful trip. I cannot, I'm still pinching myself that we are actually going to Europe, because we don't do that often. The last time I was in Europe, Dennis and I went to London like 6-7 years ago. We did a quick weekend getaway. And the rest of the time, I think we just went to, like once in a blue moon, we'd go to an island, just to relax and everything. But this time, I think we want a little culture. It would be nice to just kind of explore and, go to, see wonderful things around the world. Anyway, that made no sense. But yes, I could not be more excited about Italy. I'm going to Europe. But anyway, excuse me. Here's the back. Yay. What else? Okay, so this is the sleeve that I have cast on. And yeah, I cast it on yesterday and it's going. I won't say it's flying off the needles, maybe because I actually did work yesterday. As I mentioned, I took it easy. Like since last week was just a crazy, crunch for trunk show prep. So other than shipping orders and other administrative things, I did absolutely nothing Monday through Wednesday. I just knit, I sewed, I just enjoyed myself, and I definitely needed it. But yesterday, I actually did do some dyeing. I fulfilled some custom orders, but otherwise, yeah, just a lot of knitting and sewing. And I cast on the sleeve, and it has, again, like a tubular cast on. And I won't say that it's flying per se, but it's going. I definitely think at this point I will have the sweater done before vacation. Yes, and I have these really, okay, there we go. I have these really awesome gargoyle stitch markers. I felt like they were so appropriate. Just the color is so goth, and the stitch markers are so goth. And these stitch markers are by Andre Sue from the Andre Sue Knits podcast. Andy, I should say. I always call her Andre Sue, but I know she prefers to be called Andy, I believe. So, but yeah, they've just been kind of hanging out there, keeping me company, letting me know when I have to cable. But the funny thing is, like, as I'm knitting on these, every time I see them, I don't know why, I think of the Monty Python scene, and Monty Python and the Holy Grail scene where they come to a bridge and there's this old man and he's like, what is your quest? So I don't know why, but like this, every time I come to the stitch markers, I feel like they're asking me, what is your quest? Answer these questions 3. And every time I see them, I'm like, to finish my sweater. That's all I want to do. Yeah, I'm a little loopy this week, but just go with it, okay? Anyway, but yes, so sleeves in progress. I think I'm going to cast on the second sleeve in a couple more rows, so I have it started, just in case, I'm not saying that I'm going to get second sleeve syndrome, but if I'm working on this a lot, at least I know that, okay, the second sleeve is already cast on, so I'm not like dreading, I'm going to have to knit a whole entire another sleeve. So yeah, and this is being knit on carbons, interchangeable carbons, US 8s, and let me see. Oh, I have my needle gauge right here, which is 5. These are 5 millimeter, 5.00 millimeter. And so yeah, that is going. Oh, and I also want to mention that I am co-hosting a Stonecutter knit along with Laura from the Fawn Knits podcast, and yeah, so it's we're both closing the thread, or the plan is to close the thread on January 1st, 2016. And but yeah, again, it's it's definitely a labor of love. So if we realize that people need more time to work on it, we will push the deadline date back. And yes, double dipping is highly encouraged. And if you want to triple dip, Kemper from the Junk Yarn podcast is having a cable along. So feel free to post your progress in her thread for that as well. So yay, so much cables, awesome cables. Oh, and I also wanted to mention, what is it? The Zealous Knitter, I believe her name is. Yeah, Zealous Knitter on Ravelry was so kind. She sent me a wonderful pattern. As soon as I opened it, I was like, oh, I want to cast this on immediately. It's the Victoria Street hat. And it's just a really lovely, simple cabled hat, and it's pretty much what I've been looking for. But yeah, if you're listening, Zealous Knitter, thank you so much for sending me the pattern. And she sent it a while ago. And again, I am horrible with checking my Rav mail, and I saw it. I just didn't have a chance to click on it until recently, and I was like, so yeah, definitely check it out. It's a really lovely pattern. It's paid for, I believe. I'm forgetting what she's selling it for, but it's a really simple, beautiful cabled hat. So if you are thinking about knitting the quadri hat, or have knit the quadri hat and have knit a billion of those already, which I know some of you have, Maria, Stitched in Sweden, I know you're on your 3rd one already, but yeah, it's, if you want to switch things up a little bit, it's definitely a nice, has similar qualities to it. But yeah, so anyway, just wanted to mention that. And what else? Okay, so I'm going to move on to spinning. I did do some spinning on my loop bat that I purchased at Rhinebeck. It's the Ohm. I'm not going to pull the wheel up. It's kind of in my corner, but not, I have some progress on it, but nothing really to write home about. But I kind of do have stuff to write home about, or sure. You know what? All right, let's get the wheel. Let's get the wheel because it's kind of awesome. I hit a milestone. And I should probably get the loop bat. Where is it? It's over here. Okay. So, okay, this is the loop bullseye bump that I purchased at Rhinebeck, and it's the Ohm colorway. And I have been making a little bit of progress on it. And there's Tussa Silk, Angelina, Bamboo, and Merino, and 5.5 ounces, which is quite a lot. But yes, I have reached the mauve section. Yeah. I actually had an Instagram about it. I was like, this is so cool. I'm spinning mauve, or mauve. However you want to pronounce it. But it's coming along very nicely. And again, I didn't really do that much spinning on it, but I'm at the mauve part, so yay. And the other spinning that I've been doing is on my Turtle Made Turkish spindle. I've just been spinning on it here and there, mainly while Dennis and I have been watching Vikings, which is our new favorite series to watch. So here's where I am. And this is fondant fiber, and I've still got quite a lot of fiber to go through. It's one of her large braids, and let me see, it's the Angel Cake colorway. And it has merino, Shetland, baby camel, and silk, and it's from her bakery collection. And it's just like this really awesome hot pink, peach, orange. It's lovely, and I saw it and I just had to have it. So, and it's spinning up really beautifully. And here we go. And I'm doing the, what do you call it? The turtle shell weave. I don't even know what you call this, but it's just a really cool effect. So yeah, and this is on my Turtle Made 3D printed spindle, which I love. It spins so well. I can't recommend this more. Even though, you think 3D spindle, how good can it possibly be? It's incredibly well balanced. So highly recommend it. And the price point is, I've got this for, I think, $10 US. So you can't beat that, I think. And it's portable. So I love it. Anyway, so that's what I've been working on spinning wise. Sewing, I've just been mainly working on project bags for the shop. Dennis's boxers. I showed those off to you last week, and it was in a little bit of a disarray, but I went back, ripped out the elastic, and installed a new one. I gifted it to him that night, and I won't show you them, but he loves them. They turned out beautiful. And I gave them to him in a bag. I said, oh, happy Hanukkah, and he opened the bag, and he was a little confused because he's not used to getting boxers per se. And he's like, oh, they're boxers. They're nice. I like the fabric, and he's like, where'd you get these? And I was like, when? Okay, he thinks I bought them. So, and then he looks a little closer, he looks inside and everything. He's like, you made these? I was like, yeah, I did. And he's like, they're awesome. So, he thinks they're very comfortable and they fit, and yeah, so I think I will be making him some more boxers pretty soon. And I feel like I've been rambling, like lots of talking. I've definitely been drinking a lot of caffeine today, but anyway, so that's sewing. I will talk a little bit more about project bags in the shop update, but I think we are on to Treat Yourself. The part where I talk about the latest wool piggery, to quote Jenny from Tiny Paper Foxes. And there's been a lot of wool piggery. In fact, this week, this basket that my mother-in-law gave to me for Hanukkah is, it's going to be the basket of wool piggery this week, if not indefinitely. But I guess I'll start out with, there's a lot. Adrian from the Freakish Lemon, the Freakish Lemon podcast, was so sweet. He sent me these handmade Rolex, I believe, that he made on his blending board, and they are so cool. I really love the colorway. It's very Christmassy almost. It has greens, has orange, it has reds and yellows and stellina, and it's just so pretty. And these were a total surprise to get in the mail. And he sent along a couple of other goodies, like a Christmas ornament, which is on my tree right now downstairs, and a really pretty card. And dude, thank you so much. These are awesome. So yeah, these were really fun to get in the mail and totally unexpected. And then Laura from Jinx Yarns and the Diaries Notebook podcast surprised me. She sent me this thing is smelling up my office like you would not believe. But I opened the box and I knew exactly what it was. She got me a bar of Tuft Woolens in the Chai Spice scent and it's a whole bar of sock soap, and I think Chai Spice. And I feel like Tuft Woolens has like their own distinctive scent where it's like you smell it and you just know that it's Tuft Woolens. So I opened it and I was like, how did I guess? And it just smells so wonderful. So Laura, thank you so much. And she sent some other goodies that are not yarn related, but anyway, I thought I'd share that with you guys because I do love Tuft Woolens. It's lovely. And while I was at Gauge Intention, I could not resist, because Michelle is known for, or Gauge Intention, I should say, is known for their Cormo. And Michelle had just gotten a huge batch of it in while I was there, and I could not resist because I had wanted to buy some Cormo at Rhinebeck, but I just didn't, I don't know, I had already blown my budget a little bit, so I was like, all right, I'm going to hold off. I know I can get some at Gauge Intention, and it's just a bare skein of Cormo. It's approximately 410 yards, and yeah, just 100, and it's 2-ply sport weight, and it's just, I cannot describe how lofty and soft this is. And it's rare that I purchase bare yarn, but I'm debating whether or not I want to dye this up. I mean, there's so many possibilities, and it's rare that I buy sport weight yarn, but as you know, I'm knitting the grayling mittens by Tin Can Knits, which I left somewhere. It's somewhere around my house, but the pattern had called for sport weight yarn, so I'm thinking I might just dye this up and knit another pair of those because the pattern's beautiful. I could definitely see myself knitting a second pair. So this was really awesome. I don't know if you can see that. It's just a natural white, and there's the logo. So yeah, that was really nice. And then, yes, there's more. I could not resist. This is going back like maybe a month ago I purchased it, but I think it was like the onslaught of the holiday shipping craze where it's that time of year where the USPS the post office just slows down because there's so much volume that they have to ship and deliver. But I caught a Hobbledehoy update, and one of these was sitting in her shop for quite a while, like a couple of weeks, and I was just ogling it. So finally, she had another update, and I fell in love with some other batlings, but these were still there, and I purchased it because why not? Yeah, and here it is up close. It is just so pretty, and it's from her memoir collection. She did like a different type of luxury literary batlings, and it's just 2 ounces of superfine superwash merino wool and silk, and yeah. You can see why I purchased this. It's just lovely. And yeah, they're all the same colorway. And here is the card. Memoir. So yeah. I have no idea what I'm going to spin up with this, but it's lovely. Maybe right now I'm just happy staring at it. Or maybe I was just waiting to podcast about it. But yeah, it finally came in the mail like 3 or 4 weeks later after I purchased it, and totally worth the wait. I mean, I have so many things on the needles, I have so many things that I have going on spindles and wheels right now that it's fine that it came when it did. And then here's the other one. It's called Dark Arts Batlings, and here it is. I should probably show it to you. Just a whole like lovely combination of like blues, dark purples, mauve, there's one that has like a mix, and then there's like this really cool, this one I really like. It's just like this sea gloss green with some black in there, like a sage green almost. And it is, yeah, the contents are hand-dyed organic Polwarth wool, which I love, bamboo, soy silk, and sparkle, 2 ounces. And yeah, it's the Dark Arts colorway, and here's her card. I really like Hobbledehoy. So yeah, there's one thing. And then finally, and I have to blame, it's been so long since I purchased yarn from, or anything from Knit Picks. Usually I just go to them for like little random things, but I have to admit, I've become quite a yarn snob. Yeah, as Carlene would say, snobby. I've acquired some rather snobby yarn in the past couple of years. So Knit Picks sadly has been taking a back seat to my yarn preferences when I treat myself. But recently, I was inspired to purchase some Felici. I was watching, I think, Danny from the Little Bobbins podcast, and she had just acquired some Felici, and I was like, you know what? Everyone's getting on the Felici bandwagon, and I saw this new colorway that they have. It's called Tea Party. So I had to treat myself to some. I bought two 50 gram, I think they're 50 gram skeins. Yeah, 2 50-gram skeins in Tea Party. And then everybody and everyone is starting to knit their socks with contrasting heels, toes, and cuffs. And I was just like, you know what? I want to do the same. So what did I do? I purchased just some neutral, I got a Dove Heather, which is like a gray, and I got some black, and then obviously some white, and then this other colorway because Laura from the Fall Knits podcast had cast on her gingerbread socks from Jinx Yarns, and I have the same colorway, but not in her sparkle. It's her Power Sock self-striping gingerbread house colorway, which is 75% superwash BFL and 25% nylon. And yeah, she's knitting the same combination with a pink, I don't know, did she do a pink cuff? I don't think she did a pink cuff, but she's doing a pink heel and a excuse me, and a pink toe. So I cannot wait to cast these on. And as soon as this came in the mail yesterday, or my Knit Picks order came in the mail, I sent Laura from Jinx Yarns the photo, and I was like, look, I want to cast it on. I think this has to happen tonight. And she's like, no, you have to finish your sweater first. So I am forbidden from casting these on until I go away on vacation. So these might just be my vacation Christmas socks that I knit. So yeah, I'm gonna finish the sweater, don't worry. But anyway, so yay, that came in the mail. And I think that is it for the wool piggery this week. So back into the basket of wool piggery you go. And I know I say I'm being a total yarn snob and I haven't ordered from Knit Picks in a while, but I will say there's nothing wrong with Knit Picks. It's just, you know, I really like trying new things now. You know, hand-dyed yarn and just fancy yarn that's not, you know, workhorse per se. And Knit Picks is really good workhorse yarn. They offer some really good workhorse yarns, and especially Stroll. I mean, that is definitely like a go-to sock yarn that I would, you know, I still love knitting with it. I knit several socks out of Stroll yarn, and yeah, even their Wool of the Andes is just a really lovely line. So yeah, nothing against Knit Picks yarns at all. But I was looking at this combination when I posted it on Instagram last night. I just really love how these colors go together, even like without the Felici. Just the black, and this would be a really cool, if I were to get it in Wool of the Andes, I don't know, it would just be like a really cool sweater, like colorwork sweater. It would be just amazing. So I don't know, I might have to, thinking ahead. But yes, that is it for wool piggery. I'm totally taking that line from Jenny. But yeah, that is it for treating myself this week. But I do have another Jimmy Beans wool order coming in the mail, and I totally forgot what I ordered. Is that a bad sign when you totally forget what you ordered? I think I ordered the sock blockers for Dennis. Oh yeah, duh, and the Arne and Carlos yarn, so that's coming. And I don't think I'm going to be ordering anything else this year, just because we're going away next week, so it won't make sense. Because yeah, I don't want packages sitting out on our step when we are not home. And so yeah, okay. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the Ask Away thread, because we do have a question from the Cedar Box on Ravelry, and she wants to know, have you ever been a test knitter? What's the protocol? And are there any knitter in the know rules? Okay, so yes, I have been a test knitter in the past, but I do not believe I will be test knitting again, at least in the near future, because generally I stink at it. I'm not great when it comes to deadlines, and I just know that I don't have the time to devote to test knitting as much as there are some patterns that I would just, you know, hands down love to test knit. I just know I don't have the time. But I have been a test knitter in the past for a friend. She worked for a company, which I will not name names or anything like that. But, you know, and I will say when it comes to knitter in the know rules, it definitely varies. If you're test knitting for an established designer versus an independent designer. So I know more established designers, say Brooklyn Tweed or Isolde, you know, for example, I'm sure that they have some kind of contract or established way of compensating their test knitters. Whereas like an independent designer, say, you know, like a podcaster that's designing something, you know, makes a call out to viewers who would like to test knit, you know, then it's, you know, up to the podcaster, I believe, or, you know, the independent designer to work out a form of reimbursement or compensation for their test knitter. But I would definitely say when I test knit this one pattern for a friend, as I mentioned, she was working for an established company, and they had their own line of yarn, and she's like, hey, I know you knit. Would you be interested in test knitting this for me? And I said, sure. And I don't think there was any contract involved, but she goes, yeah, just, we'll pay you based on, this, we'll consider this freelance work. When you're done, just give me your hours, how many hours that you spent on this, and we'll reimburse you. And I did, I wasn't like, okay, I'm expecting to get paid or whatever, but, I kind of, trusted her a little bit. But anyway, long story short, I did not sign any contract. I did not agree to anything. I just knit it out of the kindness of my own heart, and I told her how long I worked on it. And, I never ended up getting paid for it, which is fine. I'm not, it's, the company was just kind of, yeah, I don't know. I don't think they had their act together. So I never ended up getting paid for it, which is I'm fine with it now. But, but that's one example. If you are expecting to get paid, make sure you're upfront with the designer, what your rates are, what, you expect to be paid, or just work some kind of agreement out, and always have a contract. If you're going to do this professionally, like professional test knitting, just so everyone is on the same page, and, you have your deadlines worked out. But yeah, when it comes to an indie designer, I would actually say, if you are test knitting for an independent designer, and they need it by a specific date, I would definitely work out a contract or something in writing that says, okay, yes, I will have this done by such and such a date. But yeah, I would say it's definitely up to the designer, to work out logistics and just come to some kind of agreement, if you will. But what else? Yeah, I think the cool part about test knitting is, sometimes there is no compensation. Sometimes it's the designer is just starting out, and they want to get, their pattern out there in the world, and they just need a couple of people to test knit their design. Sometimes they don't have the means to compensate, other than, hey, here's a free pattern. If you like it, you just get pure pleasure out of knitting it, and you get the pattern before everybody else does, and you get firsthand assistance if you run into a problem. So that's another way to look at it. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. And that's it for this week as far as questions and ask away. And wow. But yeah, that's about it for this week in the ask away thread. But yes, if you have any questions that you would like me to answer on the show, just leave a comment in the Ask Away thread on the YarnGasm Ravelry group, in the Ask Away thread on Ravelry, and I will, every week I'll just pick out a question from there and answer it. Sometimes I'll just answer it right in the thread, but anyway. So yeah, otherwise I think it is time for shop update. But if you're not interested, happy knitting. I will see you next time. I'm not sure if I will podcast next week. This may be the last podcast of 2015 until I get back from vacation. So if I don't speak to you, happy holidays, happy knitting, be safe, be merry, and yay! And happy new year. So, okay. So for shop update, just a quick heads up, the next update will be on Tuesday, December 22nd I'm going to do something different. Instead of the usual 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time slot, I'm going to push it back, or forward, I should say, to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just to kind of mix things up a little bit, because it is going to be the last shop update of 2015. So I hope you can make it. It will be a rather small update, only because I didn't work a lot this week, but I will have some stuff in the shop. So just to give you an idea, I actually had to fulfill some custom orders over the week, during the week. So I will have some overflow from that, mainly. Let me see. I will have one skein of Myth on Toasty, which is a non-superwash worsted 4-ply weight. And this is Myth. Did I mention that? Yeah. So I will have that, and then I will have some Mexican hot chocolate on Volca. And I feel horrible because this was a requested colorway for my trunk show, but it's the one colorway that I did not have time to dye up, and I felt so bad. Someone was actually asking for it, and I'm like, I don't. But yeah, this week I will have some of this. I will also have some Outlander. I just have to dye it up. I'm going to do some more dyeing later on today. But and I have 2 skeins of Holly Jolly. These are the same colorway. They just kind of re-skeined. When I re-skeined them, they just spun up a little differently. But yes, this is on my Smitten DK base, which is DK Superwash Merino Nylon Cashmere. And these are the last two skeins of holiday yarn that I will have for the rest of the year. Otherwise, my holiday colorways, Holly Jolly, Deck the Halls, and Special Snowflake will be going into hibernation until the next holiday season in 2016. So if you can grab them, best of luck. So yes, there are these, and then I will have some Poe, and I will also have some Black Pearl on Volca. And the one thing that I'm actually working a lot on this week are kits. And I blame Molly for twisting my arm, Molly at the Homespun House, for getting in my ear about maybe creating some kits for the shop. She's like, you should just create some kits. So what did I do? I created a kit this week. So upon popular demand, I know a lot of you have been asking me about this fabric, and I ordered more of the, this really awesome kind of vintage ball gown fabric. And I created, these are going to be part of a kit. I'm going to see if I can create some smaller project bags, notions pouches with this print, just to sell on the side. But yeah, so it's a large project bag, and I used the new sturdier interfacing that I received, and yeah, these can pretty much stand up on their own, and has this really cool dandelion interior lining. So to go with that, though, I created a one-of-a-kind colorway to match it. I haven't named it yet, but I dyed it up yesterday, and it's pretty cool. I haven't decided. I wrote down the formula, but I haven't decided if it's going to be a regular yet. It might just have to be, but I think it just goes so perfectly with this fabric. It's awesome. But yeah, and so that goes with that. But then there's also, I can put some in here. This is the other project bag, same bag. I made up some stitch markers to go along with it. But yeah, I don't know if you can see them. Just some really cool, because everyone's into this handmade wardrobe thing now. I feel like, dresses, some sewing notions. I have like a really cool Singer sewing machine charm, and then there's some scissors and a thimble, and then just some extra little snaggable stitch markers to go in there. So yay, very excited about that. I'm going to see how many I can crank out before Tuesday. So fingers crossed there'll be more. But yeah, other than that, I think that is it for shop update. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to mention. Yeah, no, I think that is it. So I am going to be moving on to blather, just chatting about what's going on in my life. As I've been mentioning throughout the episode, Dennis and I are going to Italy next week, and I can't believe it. It just came around so quickly. And I can't even believe Christmas is next week. It's just so fast. Oh my gosh. But I'm trying to think. Yeah, tonight we are meeting up with some friends of mine that I have not seen in years. I went to college with them, and we happened to run into them several weeks ago, just, on a whim, and found out that they moved to our neighborhood. So it was really great to see them, and I reached out to them. I said, hey, do you guys want to grab some drinks? So we're going to meet up with them tonight. Should be a lot of fun. I can't wait. And this weekend we're hanging out with some more friends. We're going to go visit them at their house in New Jersey. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Long Island. We're going to Long Island tomorrow. And yeah, Sunday I'm going to go visit my grandmother. I haven't seen her in quite some time. I really miss her. And then after that, we're going to go visit my parents. So we're going to make a pit stop, visit my grandmother, then go visit my family up in Westchester. So that'll be a lot of fun. I definitely wanted to see my parents before we got on a plane. So yes, that is pretty much, it's busy. It's busy, but I know the next couple of days leading up, I know for a fact Wednesday, I'm just going to be relaxing, knitting, and taking my time, because I know once we get to Italy, it's just going to be walking everywhere and sightseeing, and it's going to be nonstop fun. So I want to make sure I'm well rested, if you know what I mean. So yes, and I'm trying to think what else. Dennis and I tried a new restaurant last night. There was a French place that opened up. I will be honest, I'm not huge on French food. Some of it can be rather rich and filling, if you say it. so to speak, but this place actually did it very well. We got a chicken for two, and it was a really cute place. I tried escargot again. I know I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned this, but we went to another French place in our neighborhood, and I tried escargot for the first time, and I really didn't like how they served it. They literally looked like snails on a plate, and I tried it, and I wasn't too impressed with it, but this place did it very well. They did not taste like snails at all. It was wonderful. And I'm sorry if I'm making some of you squeamish right now, but anyway, it was a delicacy, and I enjoyed it a lot. But yeah, we've been meaning to try this place out for quite some time. Cooking wise, I made some curry Thai chicken for the first time in my crock pot. I just kind of improvised the design. I kind of improvised the recipe a little bit. I got some chicken, I got some eggplant and some red pepper and some onion, and some shiitake mushrooms, which I love. Chopped it all up except for the chicken. Put it all in the pot, and then I got some green Thai curry paste and some coconut milk, and mixed it all together. Created this really cool sauce. Wow, I'm really great with the adjectives today. Put a little cornstarch in it to thicken it up, and maybe some lime juice and some chili powder to spice it up a little bit. Poured it all on top and cooked it for like 3 hours, and it was delicious. Made some rice with it. I love my crock pot. It's amazing. Yeah, I'm debating whether or not I should get a new crock pot, just an upgrade, but I'm like, the one I have works fine, so why? I don't know. I'm just a crock pot enthusiast, and just thought of having like more than one crock pot makes me excited. But yeah, I'm gonna hold on to my little red crock pot that I have that I've been using for years. And it's so funny how that thing came into our lives, because we got it as an engagement gift from my aunt, and we're like, in my head I was like, oh, crock pot, it's just, that's for like feeding an army. We don't have a family or like a huge family to feed or anything. And then it came to the point where we're like, all right, this has been sitting in our closet for 2 years now. We haven't used it. Should we just throw it away? And I'm like, let me just take it for a run. I saw a couple of recipes online. Let me see what I can do with it. And oh my gosh, it blew my mind. My world just turned upside down once I started using it. So if you have not tried a crock pot yet, I highly recommend it. It's perfect for the lazy cook. That's me. It's just really great for like those one pot dishes that you want to make, that sometimes, even if you're just cooking for yourself, it can last for like the entire week, So anyway, I'm waxing poetic about a crock pot. So, anyway, but yeah, I think that is it for this week. Bella, I started recording before and she was here, and I had her on my lap. She said hello, so I'll try and insert a clip of that at the beginning of the episode. But now she's on top of my yarn fortress, kind of taking a nap. And we have a cat cam, so while we're away, I can, peek in on her. And Dennis's brother is actually gonna stop by and hang out and check in on her, so she's not gonna be totally alone. But yeah, so that's that. And yeah, so if I don't speak with you next week, I just want to wish everybody a happy holiday, happy new year, happy knitting. I hope you all are getting your Christmas knitting and Hanukkah knitting and whatever holiday you celebrate, Festivus knitting, done on time, and everybody receives it well, and just having a wonderful holiday season all around. So happy knitting, and I will see you next time. Bye. Is it all rainy and gloomy out today? Yeah? Are the birdies all hiding? No birdies for you today? No. La 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 la.